Hi there, this is Mark Edelman, speech-language pathologist, and welcome to the teaching of talking. Welcome to this particular video. This particular video is on the subject of finding the right therapist. Of just about almost anything that you do as a care partner or a caregiver or even a person with aphasia, one of the most important decisions you'll make is finding the right therapist and making sure that you commit to the therapy that that person is suggesting. Now, I want to let you know that not all therapists are created equal. That's all right. Listen again. Not all therapists are created equal. Now, in every line of work, it doesn't matter what, whether you're a baker, a cooker, a candlestick maker, whatever you happen to be, there are always the right people to choose. And then, unfortunately, sometimes there are people who you shouldn't choose. I mean, let's face it, there are some great therapists out there. There are also some who are not. You know, I want to tell you a quick story. The other day, I went to go get a haircut, all right? And, you know, back in the day, I always went to the same person because that person knew what I liked. They knew just about everything. And, you know, a lot of people like going back to the same person because they know what to expect and they always get consistent results. Well, I went to this one particular place, and there was somebody there, and I hadn't worked with them before, hadn't had them cut my hair before. And so I told them how I wanted it cut. And then she turned the chair around, and I faced away from the mirror, which was a mistake because 15 minutes later, I found almost all my hair was cut off. And holy camole, I've never had an experience like that before. You know, so guess what? I made the wrong decision. I made the wrong decision about who it was going to be who was going to cut my hair, and boy, was it a wrong decision. I mean, this was like over a week ago, and I haven't taken my hat off in over a week because I've got what we call a crew cut. And it was caused by a person who didn't really listen to what I requested when I sat down in the chair. Now, why is this a particular story that I want to share with you? Well, it's the particular story because there are therapists out there who are doing a great job for you. And then for some of you, there are some who are stepping on your toes and who are doing things that are not necessarily in your best interest. Kind of like that person who cut my hair. I mean, I was really upset. And there are many people who come to me and are really upset with the therapy that they got. And I'm really upset with the haircut I got. So just know that there are people out there, professionals, or so they call themselves, some who do a great job and some who don't. Now, your job is that if you find that your loved one doesn't like going to therapy, don't think it's their aphasia that's causing the problem. Don't think it's their aphasia that affects their decision making. In fact, most of the time, the people I've seen who have aphasia know the therapists who are doing the right thing by them, and they know the therapists who are not doing the right thing by them. And quite often, people with aphasia will let their caregivers know that they don't want to go to therapy, and the caregiver doesn't really realize that the individual with aphasia knows deep down inside whether or not that therapist is going to help them. Now, I think I've told this story before, but I want to just make it very, very brief. I worked with this one gentleman, and he refused to get out of the car when his wife took him to therapy. And he just wouldn't budge. So she called me and she said, Mark, what am I going to do? I can't get my husband out of the car to go to see these therapists. And I said, I don't know. That's between you and your husband. But if you asked me, I'd say he didn't want to go. And if you asked me, I'd probably say that there was something about the therapy that he doesn't like. And so make sure that you listen. Make sure that you watch. Make sure that you observe your loved one if he or she is getting therapy and doesn't want to go. And it's not usually because they don't want to get better, because 99 out of 100 want to get better. It's just that they just don't want to go back to certain kinds of therapy that are not doing the job. Therapists who are not fun, therapists who are doing stupid stuff with them, or doing stuff that's babyish, or stuff they're doing with them that's paper and pencil and not addressing speech. So, this particular video is just to inform you and to help you realize that if you are getting a service and you are not happy with the service, or your loved one is not happy with the service, then guess what? Look elsewhere. Get another decision, because I'll tell you, I'm not going back to that place where I got my haircut ever again. I'm just going to stay miles and miles and miles away from there, and I'm going to find the right person. And I'm going to make sure next time that about every 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to have them turn me around so I can look in the mirror and see what the heck they're doing. Okay? So sometimes don't just drop off your loved one for his or her therapy. That's a big mistake, because you don't know what they're going to do. And that's what happened to me. My back was turned. I didn't know what they were going to do, and they did stuff that I didn't like. And they did stuff that they didn't follow what I wanted. So that can happen. It can happen anywhere. And that just means, especially one other point here, make sure that when you do find the right therapist, that you have good communication with them and they teach you what to do to help your loved one at home. That's what we do with the teaching of talking. So this is Mark Ittleman, speech-language pathologist, and underneath this video, you'll see a link to the teachingoftalking.com, which is our website. Check it out. In addition to that, there's a questionnaire that we've given you the link for down below. If you'd like to speak to me, or if you have a challenge with therapy and would like to speak to me about your loved one, fill out the questionnaire, answer the questions, send them in. I'll look them over, and if I think there's a good fit, or if I think I can help you, I'll get back with you, and then we'll schedule a call so that we can find out more about your loved one and how to help them, because we're going to make 2019 the year of better speaking. So this is Mark Ittleman, speech-language pathologist, who's talking today about finding the right therapist and sticking with the right therapist. Okay, bye. Bye-bye, and see you soon.